Hello, hi. Name is Aaron Nightingale. This is a conversation I had with Casi. Um, Hope to do more of these in the future. Don't quite have a name for what it is yet, but if you enjoy, please stick around. The first few minutes of audio is less than ideal, but it does get better later on. So, thank you so much.
Just real quick, just say who you are.
Okay. We're Black Punks. We're from Spokane. No. We're Casi. We're from Spanaway, Washington.
Hell yeah. And names, just go down the list.
I'm Xavier Young. Eli Edwards.
Benji Herrera.
Hell yeah. So, real quick, just want to go through, just how'd y'all come to be? How did Casi become a thing? Because I know I saw you guys have that on Rough Trade. You have your LP listed online for sale, and it had a little bit of your background. But I want to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Okay, so the origin starts in the Bethel Rex fucking soccer recreational team. It was the summer between 5th and 6th grade in Spanaway. I think we used to practice in Graham or something for some reason though. Met this guy on the soccer field. He was the only other black kid. I hated him. I didn't want to talk to him. My mom made me hang out with him. Actually, fittingly enough, at a pizza spot with the Godfather's Pizza. We took a brutal loss in our last game of the season, and you know when they do the everybody gets a participation trophy or whatever. It was kind of one of those deals, and no one was having a good time or whatever. I was kind of off to do my own thing. My mom's like, "Here's $40. You need to be friends with him." So we hang out, we're eating pizza and shit, and then find out we're gonna go to the same middle school. I think a couple months goes by. We're in a science class or some bullshit, and he's like, dude, I'm gonna start making comics or something like that, and we're talking about that shit, bonding over that. He finds out I make beats, asks me for some beats. I send this thing as 5 of the worst beats I've ever made because I was trying to make Earl Sweatshirt type beats for this guy. And then I think from there it was boom, we're the dynamic duo. It grew a little bit, I don't know, what's the story with there was a 30-person group chat on Snapchat we tried to make to be the biggest rap crew or whatever in Spanaway. And for through high school and shit, there was 2 other homies that kind of hung around, but I think COVID happened and we stopped really talking to them or whatever, so damn near I don't know, 7 years of just making random rap music, we decided we want to switch it up and really start embracing the Daft Punk influence, the nerd influence and stuff. So
Yeah, because you guys are influenced not only by Daft Punk and things of that nature, but you also wear your emo and alt rock and techno, all that other elements that people don't necessarily see with hip hop, especially in a mainstream sense.
Totally.
So, and I know you guys said Yeezus was one of your big inspirations.
For sure.
Ives Truer. Yeah. So it's just crazy to see how all those influences kind of came to be.
Totally.
How do you, Benji, come into the picture with that?
So I met the 2 of these guys about 2 years ago?
Something like that. Maybe.
Something like that. Through a mutual friend, and then I think did we meet under the
Mesh? It was Mesh, right? I swear it was Mesh.
I think it was Mesh because
Mesh is a UW fashion club.
yeah, we just knew of each other, but then we didn't really talk as much. But then we met. I kind of met Eli almost. I think it was under the pretext of you guys wanted me to play with you.
No. I mean, I feel we met through events and partying and stuff like that, and then it was kind of you would reveal to me that you're drunk, and I think that was kind of oh, sorry, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I jammed with them a couple times, and it was this feels good because I played with Will the Human in the past.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A while ago, and it was a very similar thing of you just had backing tracks in the headphones, and then from there you just had backing tracks in the headphones, and then from there it was just playing along.
Yeah.
So it was very used to that. And I was playing in a band with Liv Victorino, who's in Ponzi, and was in PBS and a few other bands from the Seattle scene.
Okay.
But then that recently ended, and then right as that ended, this picked up.
Word.
It's fit.
It's been, yeah. And I mean, you guys seem to have such, like, for being that short comparatively to you guys, like, it seems you mesh really well together in that space and, like, play off each other very well.
We share a lot of the same, like, similar musical interests.
I was gonna say.
And
Yeah.
it's really nice to, like, send each other music and just listen
And
to all this.
feed off the vibe that you're all
Exactly.
collaborating together.
I don't think I met anybody else that was like as stoked on the 2007 Daft Punk Alive album as
Yeah.
this guy. So once I found that out, it was like, okay, we're gonna just do this. Did we say where we're at right now?
Oh, no, we didn't.
We're at Slice of Life in, or it's actually Stanley,
In where?
Washington. We're off of 82nd and Pack Ave. If anybody
Hell
wants to
yeah.
pull up,
Which,
come to-
that matters because it's close in proximity to where you guys grew up, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're like we're 8 miles from Spanaway proper. And today I caught the bus that I grew up catching for old time's sake. Shout out to the number 1 bus. If y'all ever been on that, you've probably seen me and this guy sharing some headphones, listening to beats.
Hell yeah. So, a twofold question. What spawned your guys' love of music? And then, how did you guys learn? Because both of you know guitar, right? So...
Learned is an you know, like,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know, learned.
But, like, where did that love of music kind of stem from, you know?
I watched Purple Rain as a kid with my grandma, and I was just like, damn, man, this is hard. I'm so dead ass.
No, for real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just was like, yeah. So I just wanted to do that too,
Yeah.
and just like tinker with shit.
And I mean, Prince is a big part of, it seems, your, you know, background in music, seeing as how you have a tattoo of the Prince symbol on you. So,
Yeah, so just like stuff like that, and then just honestly, literally like being bored in Spanaway. Like I swear to you, I would spend like the whole summer at his house, and like we just would, like he was there. And I got my first guitar. Like I went with his older brother to buy it from a tweet off of us, and it was this red Squire, like crazy.
Yeah.
You know? And like I had drum lessons playing the drums. We got an electric kit in the city, so like it always just was like boredom and having shit available. And
Yeah.
then, like, I mean, we're not doing shit else, why not? I couldn't skate, so I had to.
yeah, necessity is the mother of invention and all that.
You know when you turn like 11 and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to have interest now? That was kind of like where music came into play. Like it was like I picked up rollerblading actually. I was a blader and then I was trying to be a soccer player and then it's like now I'm gonna be a DJ. That's how it really started.
DJing
Yeah.
for you? And then, where did music come into your life for you, Ben?
I'm kind of separate from these two in the sense that I grew up in Jacksonville, in Florida.
Oh, really?
And spent the first 18 years of my life there. And I mean, I had friends, but the main thing I really did was just listen to music with my older sisters.
Yeah.
And through that is how I found my own taste. Because she was into Northern Soul, she was into punk, she was into like a bunch of like Pitchfork indie cosign bands like Animal Collective and Home Shake and like bands like those. And I picked up all of that and then some because of my other sisters listening to like whatever else there was.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened and I just really fell into the weeds because there was nothing else for me to do other than play drums and listen to music and like play Tetris, which was like my favorite thing to do. I just sit down with a new album and like play Tetris Effect until like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then once I got to Seattle is when I actually started playing live more because I learned how to DJ in high school. I learned how to play drums in like middle school.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really play live except for maybe once or twice until Seattle. And then I started meeting people in my like second year of college.
Yeah.
And then I
getting
started,
just deeper into the weeds of that.
yeah, and I worked for Evil House. I worked for Vampire Mansion and a few other like DIY venues in the Seattle like university scene. Played for bands there, and then kind of that settled off when I graduated, and then now I'm just playing for these guys.
Hell yeah.
Okay, wait. I did have one more thing because now that I think about it, the love for music, I really do. I don't think I've said this before. My dad was born in like the late 70s and shit, right? So he's like prime, you know, fucking. He was probably 12 when the NES or whatever came out. He's in arcades and shit. That is something that he passed down to me. He wanted me to be into like all that shit, you know, whether it was Star Wars, whatever any of that 80s shit, 90s stuff. But the biggest thing that I latched onto was like fighting games and like Sega, and, you know, just like mid 90s, whatever, like gaming stuff. And I think just for being, you know, a diehard Sonic fan or whatever, like, or fucking Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, like there's subsections of those fan bases that are like so into the music, and I came into that as like a 10-year-old, like I'm listening to fucking Sonic CDs, Japanese soundtrack, like finding out that, oh shit, like whatever, this song is like New Jack Swing, you know, like from that is like how I found genres and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, or like Guitar Hero 3, whatever, like I've cited that one before.
Yeah.
The gaming, that one is...
Because, I mean, like, especially looking at something like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, like, it's a lot of that combination of, like, drum and bass with soul influence, and it's got a lot of those R&B sounds tied to the aesthetics of it.
Great set.
Shout out Hideki Okugawa, fucking Crush 40, Jutsunoi. Shout out all those fools. Naganuma, that guy, he did I don't know if you're familiar with the Jet Set Radio Future soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's the same dude who did like some of the Marvel vs. Capcom stuff. Like they were really doing some crazy shit. Shit that's like super prevalent to the youth now. Like, that mixing jazz, drum and bass.
For sure. I'm a super Sonic nerd. I went to the Sonic Symphony. It was badass.
We're gonna have to catch up. We're gonna have to go together.
It was badass. Okay. So, I guess this also circles back around to Casi. Your new album is self-titled, which that holds a lot of weight.
Yeah.
What does Casi mean to you guys? Like, as a name, as just a feeling, like what does that represent?
It's definitely a feeling. I want to hear you say it.
It's a loaded question and it's very vulnerable, but
change always starts inside.
Change always starts inside.
Casi, it's just pure rage. It's pure ecstasy. It's pure sadness. It's pure whatever you feel.
Yeah.
And I think it was self-titled because when every time we listened to the album, like we would be like coming up with names, we'd be thinking of shit like. We would always come to the same conclusion, like, this feels like Casi. Like, when I think of what Casi sounds like, this is what it feels like. I think we gave it a self-title because there's nothing else to align it with yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Besides you and
us.
your sound.
Yeah. But I feel like I said, like, Casi's a feeling of just rawness. And I know people use that term a lot. It's like being raw and unfiltered, but like I honestly think like not only what we say is raw, but how we play is raw, how we EQ and mix shit is raw. So much of our album fucking clipping and like fucking sloppy. So like it's just like raw with no restraint.
Unfiltered,
raw with no restraint. And if you like it, you love it. If you don't, you will later. So
and we called the last one Everybody's Secret, the EP.
Yeah.
We called that Everybody's Secret because it's like, you know, this is something that like we're trying to let a couple people in, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you're here early. That
we
was
used to
kind
sit
of
around the SoundCloud link.
Yeah.
It was like a rumor around like the area for a second.
Yeah, it's like
did you hear?
Like that.
Like low key type shit. Yeah.
So the vibe was like, you know, like we're letting some people in on this, like this little thing that we have here. But I feel like naming it, you know, all caps Ozzy is like, here we are. This is what it is. Like, this is where you start from, you know?
Yeah.
If you've heard of us before, like, thank you for rocking with us. You were very early, but it's like, this is the beginning of the video.
Yeah.
You know?
It is the debut for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And what was the process of finding that, like, creative voice? Because obviously that stems from a decade plus of working together at this point.
I think it was good that we did that EP first, because it was like, I think that was like, let's like throw some shit at them. You know, like we were intentional. We stripped a bunch of, you know, there's songs on there that are like 4 years old or whatever, but that one was kind of like clearing out the archives, you know, like take the best of the old shit. And then after that, it's like, let's start making new things. And you know, we're for the first time ever separated from each other. We're starting to jam with this guy. Like things are new in our lives. Me and him both, or I guess not me first, but like I moved out of my mom's house and I'm living in LA and I'm going through shit that I'd never been through before.
Yeah.
Going through financial crisis.
And is that when you went and did stuff with Enum Claw?
Well, that was going on prior. That was, I mean, you know, that was from when I turned 17 to about like a year ago.
Okay.
So like that was kind of like, this was kind of on the back burner. That was like in the back or whatever. This is like that secret. I'm saying like that was this was the secret that we were working on. And so like once that started, you know, fizzling out, it's like, all right, like I'm gonna put every feeling I have about my life right now into this. And that's like being in a long distance relationship. That's being in a city that I don't know. That's feeling like I want to be somewhere new in my life, but I also can't, you know, shake the feeling that I belong back here. So like, even me moving, you know, I moved back here in the middle of the summer, so it's coming on a year, and it's like, I feel like the music is kind of following my life in a way that it's like, since I've moved back, it feels like things are making more sense, and like, I moved back for these guys, you know?
Yeah.
I moved back to like, do this for the most part.
Yeah.
So, long-winded, but like, I think the process is like very cathartic and very like stream of conscience, you know, like anything we're saying on this record, anything we're like, whatever in a verse, it's like that's what we're feeling in the moment. We didn't have to sit around and like decide that's what we're gonna write about. We didn't, you know, decide that this is what the riff's gonna sound like. It's like every song is the feeling.
Yeah.
You know? So it's genuine.
Okay. So that was a lot of the background of stuff because obviously I feel like, especially with it being a debut, you need to cover that background. So fuck it, let's dive right into Casi, the album. Is there like a thesis to the album and like what it sounds like you kind of explained it already with it being this is us in a sense, but is there anything more to that?
I think I don't know if there's like a main thesis, but like with the track listing, and I feel like once the album's out, you'll kind of be able to pick it up. There's like a story being told. You know, there's the start of the kind of like, you know, the first half of the record is like us talking about our problems, talking about how we don't feel like we have solutions, talking about whatever is going on in the world around us. And it kind of just like rolls through those cycles. And I think, you know, with the way that we end it, and I'm really excited for y'all to hear that, but the last track is kind of like saying that these are all things that exist. We haven't figured it out yet. You know, it's not like this record isn't like I've solved my problems or I've done this or that or that I'm giving up. It's just kind of like this is it. Maybe I can change it. You know. I think that's like. I think it's just like this is who we are. You know. I think that's the main thing.
Do you have anything to add to that? Or do you?
Can you like, what's the question again? One more time.
What is the like thesis to the album? Like, what does releasing this first album mean to you?
Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I don't know.
Bro, you just got off stage.
I know. For me though, this album, like what it means to release is like a start. I feel like I don't know. I think there's a the thesis. No, I feel like this album feels like if you took a GoPro and strapped it on my fucking face and walked around in my like point of view for a year.
For a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I say that because for the most part, all this music was made within a year. Okay. And it's in the same year that like he was in LA, he was battling with like change, struggles, money, relationships. And it's like I was back home like dealing with similar things, and it was hard not having him and like not, cause like I hung out with this nigga every day my whole life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by having that point of view is like seeing what it's like to like live such a flawed like existence. Yeah. You know, like I feel like a lot of the things I say on the songs is very vulnerable. It's like I talk about having survivor's guilt. I talk about not feeling like I'm enough. I talk about my shortcomings with relationships. Like it's all as if you were like reading my diary, or like I said, from my point of view.
Your stream of
Yeah,
consciousness.
yeah. So.
So to that point, like, because we've spoken a lot about like musical inspirations, what is your guys' opinion on like genre, and how does that shape the music you not only make but consume? Because to me, in my opinion, I don't think genres matter in the day and age. I think it's kind of like a byproduct of the record industry and how it used to be, especially going back to the first genres that we know of. So I'm just curious where your guys' perspective on that is, especially as such a genre-bending, quote-unquote, band. Whoever wants to go first?
I actually want to know what you think.
Yeah.
Word. We live in a time where streaming is just letting everything blend together. So I feel like we are living in that time, like you said, like kind of post-genre, and that even in like the modern like mainstream pop sphere, you're getting those mixes, and you see those moments of like these crazy moments where these very traditional genres of like very specific characteristics are being pushed to some breaking point, and it's very interesting to watch. But when it comes to the music that I want to make or what I listen to, and like the things that I really appreciate the most, is the things that draw feelings out of me, you know, like be those rage, melancholy, longing, whatever. Like, as long as there's a feeling that I can attach very well to a piece of music, that's what really makes me appreciate it for what it is, no matter what the genre is or whatever it would be classified as. So, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. I think something that's kind of, I haven't seen really spoken about a ton about like I guess the lane that we're in, which is like punk rap or like alternative rap, or maybe we're a rock band that raps sometimes, but you know, whatever you want to call it, I feel like there's kind of a notion that like I've seen from other artists that they won't exactly say it, but there's just kind of this energy that like to be a valid artist or a valid black artist, you have to like not be a rapper. You have to like stop being a rapper and switch it up, you know. And like I don't think that it's intentional, but I look at like a Lil Yachty, or I look at it like an A$AP Rocky, where like you know, they'll have moments where it's like, oh, we're not rappers for this second, we're like doing the rock record or we're doing the dance record. And I think that like for us that feels like pretty limiting, because like if you go back, it's like hip hop or whatever and punk and shit have always shared the exact same spaces. Not the entire way, but in the founding days, like in New York, you know.
Especially with it being like a bunch of predominantly black genres.
Yeah.
All intermingling because they're all coming from similar spaces of
Totally.
like struggle and also joy and all these other things that are intrinsic to minority experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I think just like to that, it's like we always want people to feel like, or like people to know that because we're like the different rap, that doesn't mean that we think that what we could be making is terrible, or like that's like not art, you know. I think if you're making band lab shit and you go out and make a catchy hook, that you're just as much an artist as us, and you don't have to like pick up a guitar or whatever, know how to make every beat. And then just like the other thing is like, I feel like this one's kind of more of like a question, but it's like if punk and hip hop were sharing the same venues, the same nights in the fucking late 70s, is punk rap even a thing? Are they not just the same thing?
Exactly. To me, and like I said, my experience is, I think genre at this point is moot, and also just like looking back throughout all time, because it's always been intermingled. Nothing ever came from a vacuum. It's always built on everything else. Blues was built into rock, into hip-hop, into so many other things, and it typically starts with black art forms, where it's running through that chain.
And I think that, you know, thematically this has a story, but I think sonically for us, we want this to just kind of represent like the future of what it means to be a black artist, you know?
Yeah.
It's like whatever you want to do, you can do it. And there's no like pretentious, like I have validation for doing anything different. Like, you know, we'll one day we'll release a record where, you know, we do the most beautiful fucking, you know, alternative thing, and then it switches over and it's Detroit style beat, you know, because like it's all art, you know, and it's all black and it's all beautiful.
What do you have to say to that? I'm curious.
When I was in college, I took a music theory class, and the professor started out the class with saying, everything I'm going to teach you in this quarter are the rules. And I'm teaching you these rules, so next quarter, I can teach you how to break the rules. And I feel like genres are the same thing. Genres are building blocks. They're like inspiration, but I don't think you're ever meant to just stay in that box. You know what I mean? And I think what we do really well is like, we can listen to a King Von song and turn it into fucking Spanaway. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can listen to, but yeah, so, you know, or like we can listen to a Daft Punk ass song or album and make fucking, what is that
Throw
song?
Chief on it, like, you know, let's do it.
Bro, you know, I just think that shit is crazy too. But like just taking, main thing is take away from this. I think genres are meant to inspire you, take things from it, and make it something that's true to yourself. And that's what I think Casi is, and that's what we do.
Yeah. It's a yard, not a cage. You know. You play in it, you can go to the other one, but you're never supposed to be trapped by it. I think that's a good way to look at it. What was lessons from your first live show that you took? And it was like, or one that was early on in you guys doing this and went, oh shit, I'm never messing that up again, or oh, that's a feeling I'll never forget. Like, what's one of the first moments where you were like, holy shit?
I want to hear yours, because there's probably some shit that you picked up.
Because I'm trying to remember what our first show was.
Together was closed.
Huh? Was it at the park? No.
Oh, it was Cohen Park.
Our first show was Cohen Park.
Was it not Cohen Park?
Damn. Wow. Well,
That's the first time.
No. Dude, it was fucking. It was, I swear it was, what's this shit called? Baba Yaga. Right? Was it not Baba Yaga with, like, blind heresy and shit?
Baba Yaga. You think the Pioneer Square one?
Yeah, dude. Because I remember there was no hi-hats in. We lost the hi-hats.
Oh, yeah, there was not one.
Yeah, so we set the kid up for. That's how you know we didn't know what we were doing. We were set the kid up.
Oh, yeah. But, like, I don't know. My setup has always been pretty easy. It's just been kit, and then I just plug into the deck, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
But there were one or two times where, like, I would ask, I usually have to set the volume myself, and I would ask Eli to, like, turn it up or down, and he would just go, boom, just, like, blast it. He did it today, actually.
That was on
He thought it was the effects knob, but then he just blasts my ears and just blows out my ears. But I don't really have any issues playing live with these guys. It's just like I don't really have much to prepare for, and I just kind of sit back there and play with the tracks. Yeah.
What about like one of your first times doing with any other band? Like one of your first times.
I always just rush whenever I get nervous, and like especially when I was performing live for the first time at like DIY shows, and it was just a bunch of cool people that I wanted to meet and hang out with, and it was just like I would get in my head, and I'm a very, very chronic overthinker. So whenever I start to like get anxious, I really just get stuck and trapped in my head. I would just overthink and then play too fast, and like I just learned really early on that, you know, it's not that big a deal. Yeah. And then the moment that I stopped worrying about that, the moment I started playing on time and things like that. So
Yeah.
I got a good one for that. This one is less about, or like the lesson that I learned pretty early on playing shows with Enumclaw. It's not really about, you know, the performance. I think I kind of like, you know, you kind of figure that out as you go. But it's like a philosophy thing. And I think, you know, our first tour was opening up for this shoegaze band, Nothing. And they're sick. They had big crowds that, you know, they die hard. But, you know, we're just some guys from Tacoma, whatever. We, like, could barely play. And I think early on, I thought that the only way a show was good is if everybody's jumping over each other and the entire crowd's going fucking apeshit, da 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 da. But I mean, you know, that rarely happened with that crowd. And like, there was whole tours where we wouldn't have a single crowd that did that. But you would find out after the set, you know, you'd be bummed in the backstage or whatever, but you find out after the set, you know, people come up to you and they're like, I was stunned in awe, and I was very inspired from this, and da da da, like, you know, so on and so forth. And I think I realized that, hey, sometimes crowds need a little spark to get things going, or B, it's like they just don't know, like, they need to take a second to process it. And like, I feel like with this band, we've come across that a couple of times. We're like, you know, maybe we're thinking we're playing a stinker, we're like, what the fuck, you know, like whatever. And then it's like, they come up and they're like, holy shit, and then fucking buy your whole merch table out. So yeah, I think sometimes it's just people need time to figure out what they're watching.
Something I learned early on too was I watched, I don't know if it was Decline of Western Civilization or if it was some Henry Rollins spoken word thing, but he talked about when he joined Black Flag and he like hopped on the tour with them in like Chicago or Detroit, and he wasn't giving his all. I think either the drummer or the guitar player just fucking rocked him with the body of the bass or the guitar, and just like, you're never not going to give 100% or else you're just going to not play with the band. Even if the place is packed out or if it's like two people in the back, you need to give it your 100%, because then those two people could be like super important, or, you know, just they could just need a good performance or like need to get inspired.
Or it's their first show. Like I mean, I'm sure most people's first show was some random stinker in their hometown. You know?
And like, no matter who you're playing for, you should give it 100%, because you don't know if people need it. You should always just be giving 100%, and there's no reason to not try for anyone that's paying money or just being and taking their time to watch you. So,
What's the question?
Something you learned early on in touring and like, or just even doing shows, that it was one of those moments where you went, oh, I'm carrying this forever.
Whoa, okay.
Whatever that is.
We were on tour with Tears of Joy, Princess Pulpit, and that's it. And girl, let me tell you, we were on the tour and I was like, we didn't really practice like that, me and Eli. Like, I'm not gonna throw shade, but like, we just like, me and him had the mindset early on of like, cool, we recorded it, we can play it. We got it. Went on.
That was you. That's what
You weren't that crazy either, though. Bro, no, this nigga shit was not that tight either. And then like, but I you can disagree, but yeah. And then I saw some real niggas really play who like seasoned veterans in the shit, and I was like, oh, like, you know, or like hearing people at the end of the show be like, yeah, your show was fun. I was like, okay, like, and really seeing people really grind out and like handle their shit and like how to make sure my mic is correct so I'm not on stage fucking shit up, or like making sure my chords aren't all tangled, making sure I figure out my tone before we start fucking playing, like making sure I know the set list, like being more organized. And I feel like being on tour and feeling embarrassed and hitting rock bottom, like dead ass, like I felt like some sports shit, like I had to start over. And like I feel like I always wanted to do this music shit, but I went on tour and realized I didn't want it bad enough, and I came back from tour and was like, okay, nigga, like it's no more sparring, like we're fighting now, you know? So
Yeah, it's not practice anymore. We're in this shit. And you were hungry, but you didn't see at what cost it was yet. Wasn't hungry enough even, yeah. So do you guys mainly make your own beats? And if so, I know in your bio on Instagram, it's FL Studio heads. Why FL Studio over something like Ableton or something like that?
Ableton scares the shit out of me. I know how to fucking use it. That's what I started on, but I just like was the hometown engineer and like producer for everybody, and I just did it all on FL. So I like just kind of like in the most comfortable on that. But he picked up Logic, like
Logic Pro?
what, like 4 or 5 years ago. And I think that's kind of when it started to blend the process together, where now it's like we'll kind of work on something on our own or together using both, and then it always ends up landing in FL.
Okay, and this is something I'm really curious about. So, over the course of making the album, there was highs and lows, because there always is. There's this phrase I love called rosebud thorn, which is the rose is one thing from the album process that you loved, thorn is one thing that you disliked, and bud is something you're looking forward to. What are those for the debut album?
I loved... Oh, easy, actually. Loved making every part of it. I hate having to do the marketing, and I'm excited to play it live.
I love being able to play it because we have just wonderful people that we're playing to, and like no matter what, there's always going to be someone is moving in the crowd, and that's enough for me to just play even harder than I would. I guess a thorn is the late nights, because I work at a cafe, and sometimes it's like early mornings, and then I'm out till like midnight, and I got to drive back from Tacoma. I remember I had to work at 8 o'clock after our Spanaway show, and I drove 4.5 hours back, starting at midnight, and I got home at 4:30, went to sleep at 5.
You mean Spokane?
Yeah, Spokane, sorry. Spokane, pardon me. But mix it two up, I apologize. But had to drive back from Spokane at midnight till 4:30, and then I slept for 2 hours and went to my shift. So that's like the one big thing. But Bud, there's an album coming out, tour hopefully, and beautiful summer.
The rose for me, same thing was the process. I thought it was cool going out to LA, working with Ben Zadie, staying at his helping him move. Like, it really was like a whole like trip, you know what I'm saying? And like that was definitely like really cool. The thorn of it all definitely was like, you know, we had some loss in my family that was like really hard, and it made it really hard with the album and shit. Like, there were some earlier recordings and studio sessions I had to miss out on, you know, with shit going on. That was like really hard. And he was really supportive throughout the whole thing. His mom, my mom, so yeah, it was really hard. But the bud I'm really looking forward to is allowing other black kids to see that like you can do whatever the fuck you want, and being able to be that example that I wish I had. You know what I'm saying? Like, letting niggas know, like, bro, you could paint your nails, you could wear dickies, you could beat niggas up, you could do ballet, you could play guitar, you could play basketball. Like, you don't have to just do one thing. And I feel like that's where I fucked up as a kid, is like, I feel like I could only do one, or if I wanted to do this, I had to stop doing that. Yeah, so like that's the bud I'm excited to inspire more like the next generation.
You want to be the person that you wish you saw, either in your music, and I think like it shows with like Prince, you know, being such a big inspiration. It's like that aspire of like non-conformity in that way, just being a big part of that.
I think that's kind of like one of the biggest mission statements behind us, is like, we're from a place where the closest, you know, venue is 25 minutes away, Real Art or whatever. Now we have here, thank God. But like, you know, the closest place is so far, and like just the way that our school programs are set up, it's like you don't learn about any of these things. You don't know that there's cool shit. You have to find it on your own. And like, yes, there's the internet, but like, I don't know, just the places that we're in. Thank you, dog. The places that we're in, like, it just doesn't happen. So we had to make ourselves who we want to be. We had to like be that big homie that we didn't get. We have to like da-da-da-da. So it's like, that's why I love punk and DIY so much, and like I think it needs, you know, more black representations, because it's like, dude, we like, you can just book your own show. You can just make your album. You can just learn how to play. You can do all this shit, and it's like, we're doing all that shit right now. We started from scratch, you know, like whatever project I've been in before, there's not like some residual like overreaching help. It's like, it's a restart DIY from the same place that any one of these people in the room are. And that's like what made me love hardcore so much, was just like seeing people play fucking sold out shows at pneumos and shit, and then getting down and selling their own merch. You know, it's like, fuck yeah, you're right here with us, and we're here with you.
And an aspect of you guys being like trans, femme, non-binary, you guys play with gender expression a lot, even in your lyrics with like crop top tee, pink nails, you know, all that. So like, I'm assuming that was intentional, and I'm assuming that was like a active decision being made, because you could be the standard, you know, could be the standard hip-hop aesthetic that people ascribe to, but you chose not to. So like, what does gender expression and that like playing with that identity mean to you guys?
I think for both of us, it's kind of like a product of how we're raised, you know? For like, you know, me a little more half-half, but him, single mother, you know, like I have sisters, you know, like raised around a lot of women. And I think it's just like, I was so inspired by my big sister's like fashion, you know, like my brothers, they did their own thing, but it's like, I want to look like her. You know, like she did the makeup, she put the makeup on me, she did the da-da-da-da. So it's like, I don't think I really had like the barriers, you know, like you learn them, you pick them up from your whatever, learn behavior kind of shit. But like, I think that's just like something that, at least for me, I'll say like, I just carry it on in my everyday, you know?
For me, I've always been like gender bending, like even in secret. Like my older cousin Jaylani like used to paint my nails. My grandma used to do my eyeliner. My grandma was gothed out, pierced out. So like, I definitely think now that I'm an adult, it's easier to like be more expressive and exploratory, because I did grow up hella Christian, I'm not gonna lie, but I think that feeling of having to conform made me want to rebel even more. It made me want to be like, okay, like why can't I do this though? Like why can't I wear a skirt? Why can't I fucking pierce like why can't I pierce my nipples? Yeah. So yeah, and I just feel like don't be afraid to try shit. I think gender identity for me means so much more, because there was times where like I was non-binary, and there was times I wanted to explore with gender fluidity, and like I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I think we've come up into this society where it's like, because you're a man you can't try this and try that, and it's like, why? Like, why can't I try this? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't I put on makeup, lipstick, and still dresses and still like be a man? Like, why can't I? I can, and I'm telling you I can, and I'm gonna show you I can, because I'm gonna pull up to the show with makeup on. So I don't know.
Yeah, and you're gonna show that you're still like you, and you're still whatever you feel comfortable being. Like, abstracting that clothing or accessories from gender at all.
I grew up with 3 older sisters, and you know, I drew a lot of inspiration of mine from them. I talked about the music thing earlier, but again, my oldest sister was very into Northern Soul, which is why I dress like this, with like just very old like tight clothes and things like that, and I try my best to not limit myself to dressing a specific way, because if I like how someone's dressed, then I'm just gonna like pull what I can from that. I don't really care about how they identify or who they are or whatever it is. If they look good, then they just look good to me. And I'm gonna take whatever inspiration I can from them.
So back to like the more musicality aspect of it, you guys play with tension and release in a lot of different aspects, both in like the internal song structure, but also in the way you compromise your set. Like, you play Feel the Rain on Your Skin right next to a really hard, fast song. Do you feel like that juxtaposition is like paramount to how you guys do music? Like, and just kind of like more on that?
I think that represents a lot about like our thought process on songwriting and producing. I think like for both of us, all of us, I think, I think all of us are producers, right? And like that's just stuff that you learn from the trade. That like the quiet parts are gonna make the loud parts louder. You know, the silence is gonna make the noise noisier. The slow is gonna make the fast faster. You know, so like that is just like the bread and butter. And I think that like all of us love pop music in any variety. We love hooks. We love catchy things. I think that's like when you listen to our music, there's a hook, and you know, not everything is the catchiest. I'm not gonna toot my horn that much, but like there's hooks interlaced into everything. There's hooky drum parts. There's hooky guitar, you know, whatever, good riffs. Like, I think that is just like, you know, I made this joke. We made an album full of singles, you know? Like, that was kind of like, everything has a hook on it. Everything has a big part and a small part. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's like, honestly, I think I love experimental music for sure. I love things that are like more meant to be palettes for sure. But I think that in this day and age, a lot of music is lacking like form, you know, like
Vibes.
huh?
Like a lot of people nowadays don't write songs; they just make like vibes.
Yeah, you know, it's like I love a good palette. Of course, I'm a fucking Playboy Cardi fan, but even Cardi knows to like repeat this thing a couple. The catchiest part, repeat that hook.
Something to get the crowd going.
Yeah, like, and I think we take that live, and I think that if there's something that I definitely we're trying to improve on the most is for sure like making the live experience like as well, I don't know, like make it feel like you're walking into this world, you know.
But I think it's what I've noticed is like when me and him make music, neither like one person always makes the soft part and one person always makes the hard part. I've noticed that, but it's never like but like sometimes like I'll send him something super soft and he'll add the most hardest like guitar riff on top, or like sometimes he'll send me like something really hard and I'll add a really soft layer on top. Like I think like he said, it's really important to have both and not just stay in one pocket, you know, and take inspirations from like R&B and pop and still make that into what the fuck we like, you know, breaking those genre barriers and just taking what the fuck we want.
I guess the only thing I want to say is I love listening to new music and being like, what the fuck is this? And it's always in a very flattering way. It's never like, I'm never really like weirded out, but it's a good weirded out, you know? Because it's just like, you would have never have thought or even like begun to have thought of mixing things in some ways. Like, it was like when I first listened to these guys' music, or when I was a huge Death Grips fan for a while, like years. And when I sat down to listen to their music for the first time, it was the same thing. Or like when I first listened to Minutemen and their first EP, Paranoid Time, which is like late 70s. And it's just the weirdest, like almost spoken word yelling at you. It's just, the production's so dry, and it's just anything that I don't understand, I just want to dive into.
That's how I felt about hearing 100 Gex for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I came onto that kind of late. I found them in like 2020. So like, I don't know, there had been some lore before, and that was like, not the last time, but like one of the last times I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how do I even begin to figure out what's going on? I love layers.
And for me, like, the person that comes to mind with that is like Fentanyl.
Yeah.
And like just like how, especially the Chaser EP, and just how they combine the like noise grinding sound with the like heart-wrenching vocals, and like wanting to just take that apart and be like, okay, what are they doing with the 808s? What are they doing with the bass line? How are they mixing their vocals?
We actually almost, we played with them at Treefort. I really wanted to go see their set, but we did not have time. It was the worst. There were so many people to see, but Fentanyl was on my list for Treefort, 100%.
100%. I've seen them twice now. Crazy crowds. Pits go... I almost died in them, but...
Glad you did.
Me too. Well, kind of to that point, what are like collaborations that you would love to do? And I both want to know like current collaborations, like people that could conceivably happen, and also people that maybe can't happen either because their band's no longer together or because like they're past or what have you.
I mean, I feel like this is kind of on the nose to say, but with what Denzel and Knock Loose did recently, I feel like Denzel Curry would be awesome to do. I feel like that fits kind of his niche pretty well.
Latched right in.
Another interesting one is 454.
Yeah, for sure.
He does some crazy live stuff because I remember a friend of mine went to one of his homecoming shows in Orlando where he's from, and he had like 2 hardcore bands open for him. And he just makes the most beautiful, like dreamy beats that you could imagine, especially on his first 2 projects. So I feel like he would fit our mold pretty well as well if we would make more of a hip hop record.
First thing that comes to my mind is Tears of Joy from Tacoma. That's like super. I feel like that's just like bound to happen. We just gotta set it up. We gotta get it right. They're my favorite hardcore band. Yeah, pretty much. That's gonna happen and it's gonna be amazing. But I'm thinking maybe I have 3 because I feel like the other one that's just like, you know, me and him talk about it all the time is Blood Orange. I think like the Blood Orange anything would be like.
I assume y'all would have similar answers.
Yeah, but the Blood Orange anything would be amazing. But I mean, the one that's just couldn't possibly happen is getting the Daft Punk. It's like, I don't know. We'll have to find a way to do some magic or whatever. But yeah, come on, please, guys.
I think it'd be really sick to work with Norse by Time. That'd be a really good one. I don't know if you're familiar, but you should check them out.
I'm not familiar with half the names you guys are saying, which is awesome because that's more shit to look into later.
Yeah, Norse by Time, like you said, Blood Orange would be sick. East Tumor would be really sick. I don't know what the fuck we made, but we'd make something happen.
It would be something gas though.
Yeah. And someone who's dead, I think it'd be sick if we worked with Prince. Let him like tell us like an idea and help us.
Hell yeah.
You know, I think that'd be sick.
Yeah.
There's some stuff where it's like, there's some stuff that's like, they're still around, but they're not in their prime anymore. Like,
Which you can add that.
You know,
like prime so and so.
like prime 2003 Chad Hugo and Pharrell, like Neptunes.
Yeah.
Just you
guys on a Neptunes beat.
I mean, or like them executive producing, because that's what they did with No Doubt or whatever. Like, Pharrell, Neptunes, or whatever. They brought them in the studio. So like the executive produced Neptunes record would be so crazy, but it's not gonna happen, unfortunately.
Okay, what about non-musical influences? Like video games, plays, books, poetry. Like, what of those has inspired you to add it into your art in some way, shape, or form?
Damn, I might have to think about this one.
Yeah, if you need to pass it, feel free.
Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball, fucking, what's the other one? Not Dragon Quest. Fuck, I forgot what the other thing he did. Like, that art style, so crazy. I just think the whimsy, the mix. I think that, that's like a generational person right there. I think I don't know. That guy laid the foundation for a lot of shit. We're gonna go back, Sega, fucking anything like up into like 2011 Sonic related is just like engraved. And I think it bled into Casi a ton with we wanted to do a mascot because I've always loved the character design of that franchise.
Mascot is so Sonic.
Come on. And we're definitely gonna play into that more. I feel like there's got to be something that skateboarding, skateboarding. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take it another step. Rollerblading, aggressive inlining, whatever. Like that is like a family thing. My two of my older brothers were super into it in the mid 2000s, kind of in the underground wave, and I picked it up. They passed me the torch a little bit later, and there's just so much cool shit that people don't know about because it's so niche and it was taboo at the time. Whatever the Hyphy 1 and 2 were two rollerblading videos that are crazy. 4x4 leading the blind. I think in a weird way, rollerblading was even more genre mixing and people mixing than skateboarding in the mid 2000s because they were like outcasts. Like nobody was a blader. Like
Even
you weren't.
compared to skateboarding.
That's what I'm saying. Like you, because you're not getting paid to be a blader. It's like whack. You're just doing it for the love of the game. So like the like true outcasts really came into the game, and there's some people still doing it to this day. Some young OG, or some I guess young OGs. Frankie, my guy Frankie, fucking Alex Broskow. Those dudes like Chris Farmer. Super inspirational. So definitely blading, skateboarding, Baker, all that shit.
I didn't really grow up playing video games like that. I wasn't really allowed, but like hella movies, hella comics, hella manga, hella anime, shit like that. But yeah, stuff like that really influenced me. Like a lot of movies, stuff like that.
What movies in particular can you point?
That inspired me, like in what way? Like
In just your artistic vision. Like it doesn't have to be necessarily music related, but I think like every creative has a vision that they see things through, that they channel all their interests through.
Yeah.
So like what fed into that?
Gritty movies. Like a lot of our videos are pretty gritty, and like that definitely comes from my love of like Tarantino movies, City of God, fucking Fight Club, just like real gritty, fucking Goodfellas, Like I just like shit that was just raw and real, and I feel like that definitely transfers over. Like when we're shooting photo shoots, and I'm like, punch me in the face. Like all that shit is real. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely makeup and shit sometimes, but like me and him really get in that space. And I've always really liked method acting. Like I did theater growing up, and method acting was very important. And I think we channel shit like that too. Like the true dedication.
Yeah, I was fiending. But I thought about it a little bit more, and I also really like that gritty movie sort of comparison. I loved Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Yeah. So like gritty movies like Seven, and unusually enough, Mr. Robot, the TV show, was like thing I think in like 2014, 15. The way that it was shot, it was just very influential for me. I watched it very young, and another very big movie for me growing up was the Wachowski sisters Speed Racer, which I recently watched the 4K, the IMAX remaster, and that was.
I saw that shit for the first time because they got it in theaters now. These guys are big fans. They were talking about it. I saw it for the first time in theaters on Monday. That's the closest thing I've ever seen to a good live action anime. It was like peak. I was like, holy shit! That intro where bro's sliding into the ghost of his brother and shit. Damn.
Yeah, it was like. Truly, I grew up watching that movie because we'd rent it from Blockbuster all the time, and I would watch it like in the car or on like the desktop family computer, and I would just be floored. But also, honestly, yeah, the Sega like Dreamcast era games like Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi, and a lot of games from that era, Bomberman, Super Monkey Ball, like soundtracks, aesthetics, whatever it is. It's just like all of those imprinted in my head as a kid.
DDR, man. DDR, pop and music. Those are the two. On some like visual stuff, like pop and music specifically, I never really played the games like that, but I was gifted like 10 art books one Christmas and like whatever COVID or whatever, and like that shit is so sick. Like Penny and Stalking, just kind of that similar world of art style, like super pop arty, like overly bright, thick outlines, that shit. If the world could look like that, I would, die happy.
Also, like, Design Republic is a very big influence for me. It's like kind of the Vector Heart, Metal Heart, like kind of, I don't really know how to put think of Mirror's Edge.
Okay.
That kind of vibe, I love that so much. It's just like that weird thousands, very design-oriented style of like Wipeout and like Jet Set Radio again. Bomber Cyberfunk is another big one. It's like kind of the rehashing of that same style. And then I had another Counter-Strike.
I mean,
I played so much CS:GO when I was younger.
my condolences.
Yeah, definitely. But like the community around that game, and I grew up pretty online as a kid, and so like going on YouTube and like being part of those communities as well. So I think a lot of that played into who I am
as a person.
Yeah, and just so you guys know where I'm coming from, I do photography, as you've seen probably, and so for me, I channel a lot of my other interests through that photography lens, with how I like view a scene or how I do music production or whatever. It's all through that lens, which is why I was curious. And to that point, I guess as like a final question is like, how does criticism affect you?
We are all raised in the internet age. We've obviously been on the Xbox Live, you know, shit. So I think we've all built up a pretty good like filter for what's real and what's not. I will say, however, I do believe that if there is no negative criticism, no like, you know, negative talk of what you're doing, then what you're doing doesn't really exist yet. I mean, like, so far, we've received, I'd say, 98% praise, and like, that's awesome. But I know when the haters show up, then we're doing something right.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, but like, to be real, I think that like, it is kind of a scary thought to think that there could be a future where my life is like so perceived. You know, and like that's something I definitely even now have talked about, just like, you know, if things take off, you know, like let's just be wary of like where our heads are at, because like if there's a constant discourse about you, what you do, whether it's negative or positive, like we've seen how that psychologically damages people, and like bands will fall out over it, you know, like I've seen firsthand accounts of like, you know, you're in a green room and a band's arguing because, you know, one of the members is like, yeah, people on IG think that this is good, so we have to do this. And it's like, or the opposite, like people don't like when we do this. Like we got a bad TikTok posted about us. You know, I think that like, sure, it's important to me because it means something. Like that means that there is talk, but at the same time, it's like, you got to unplug. You know?
No, you don't got haters, you're not doing something right, you know? Like, I take what everyone says, no matter who they are with, I respect it, you know? Even if I don't agree with it, I respect it, you know? So that's, I don't have much to really say.
Yeah, no, it's gonna come closer than you think.
Yeah, it's really tough to take criticism if you don't know how to, especially if like when you do put yourself in the public eye with doing things like art, there has to be that consideration of, you know, people are always going to say something. And that's just an inevitability. It's more so a matter of how you're going to take it and how you can cope with it, in the sense of you need to believe in what you're doing fully, or else your whole belief system about what you're doing is going to just completely rot if you let those things get to you. And it's, you know, it's hard not to a lot of the time, because you have to see all this shit on your page or like in person, you hear about it from people, and it's just like, I've had to deal with that a lot, of like worrying about what other people think. But, you know, at the end of the day, you are the one that has to live with your decisions. And especially if they're ones that are artistic and they're ones that you believe in, then it really shouldn't matter what other people are thinking. So,
yeah, one of those things where it's better to stick to your guns with what you believe in than conform to the pressure of people who aren't living your life. I think that's a great point to end off on. If you guys want to just go around, say where people can find you, and do that.
Before we do that, I do have one thing I want to say, and it's that, like, I think as we've talked at length, from our background, we're, you know, in a pretty isolated place, and we've had to, like, fight pretty hard to break through the noise. And, like, I think I'm very proud of us for, like, entering this world. And I think that, above all, throughout the last, like, year and some change that we've been doing this, I've been so flattered and so, like, honored by how much we're being welcomed into this, and how much I get to, like, day to day see people's lives, have these conversations, and, like, I don't know, experience that that thing that I wanted so bad as a teenager, and by far you were definitely one of the pinnacle of that. I think that like it is such an honor to see you at the shows. You and all your friends have traveled to, I believe, what, like 6 of our shows?
I've been to 7.
7 of our shows.
Dan's been to 9 or something.
So many up and down the state, and like I was saying to you earlier, that, you know, just like isolated on Washington, like that is something that we really, really want to preach, is that like if we can do it, if we can spend 18 years of our lives coming up to Seattle to come see y'all, everybody from all over can go anywhere to see who they want to see. You can see us, you know? So thank you.
And I mean, to that point, I come from a state called Wisconsin in the Midwest. I would drive 30 plus minutes just to go to Milwaukee, an hour to go to Chicago, 2 hours to go to Madison. So like making that effort for art I love has always just been something that's always been worth it to me. So
it's all, I mean, that's like what I think in the world we need community the most, and like you're not gonna get it without putting the effort in. So like, thank you, really, thank you. And you want to say something?
I think the 2 most important things for people, especially in this time, are community and safety. And hopefully we can provide spaces where people can commune and get to know each other, and like have people to lean on and people to talk to when they're not having a good time, because everyone is going to struggle at some point. And above all, just making sure that people feel safe and feel heard, especially at shows where people are supposed to like let off and just forget about shit for a second. That's why I do it. So hopefully we can harbor those 2 things at shows that we're at or in spaces that we inhabit.
And to that point, free Palestine, free the Congo, free Sudan, free every oppressed people we can. Love each other, share a hand where you can, and listen and just be there for your fellow person.
God damn it.
Still your bit?
Casi, album out June 19th. Be there. Don't be square. It's been an honor. Thank you so much.
What's the Insta?
Casi_ right now.
Much love.
Thank you so much for joining me with my first conversation with artists. I had a lot of fun doing it and plan to do more. Check out Casi's new album, self-titled debut. Spread love. Help those who you can. This has been Air at Still on the Air, signing out.